What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and this one we're going over the basics and just general usage of a structure block. Now, I'm also going to, at the end, we're going to have a brief segment about the /structure command. Very similar to structure block, just I do want to go over that because that is useful with command blocks and stuff. But the structure block has three kind of sections. It is the save section, the load section, and the corner section. Corner mode is kind of weird. It's not hugely important. I will go over it, and I do understand it. But the chances of you using that are very unlikely because it's just, I don't know, it ends up getting more confusing than anything with the way that it works with some offset stuff. It's weird. But, yeah, I think that's really all I have to say. So enjoy the video, and I will catch you on the flip side. Alright, so as my example, I'm going to use this Longhorn, which, by the way, if you want to see a tutorial on that, maybe I'll link it in the description, I don't know, it's in the restaurant tutorials playlist, so I just dropped my phone. Let's start off with the, important thing. Also, I do want to say this is for Bedrock specifically. I believe the only difference is the UI on Java is a little different, but it should have the same functionality and everything. So, to get one, you just need to do /give at structure, oh my goodness, that's not exactly how you type. Structure_block. That's the command. I'm not gonna type it because I have one in my inventory. I also don't know why I still have that. Anyway, so the first thing you should do is just place it down and open it, and there's a lot here. We're not gonna get in all this. This, save in memory, disk, all that. This is PC only, and I believe the export button in the middle there is also PC only. Also, this is just like, I don't know, if you're typing in numbers, like let's say I got 55 on that X, if I hit reset, it'll go back to that. So you'll notice it has a little box here, and this box is basically the most important part of this, ignoring the sizing and stuff. What corner this structure block in is the corner of your build you will want to place this in. So, like, you know, basically, I guess this green line is the kind of back left corner. So I'm gonna get rid of this, and I'm gonna bring it to the back here, and this back corner is here. Now, actually, it's one block further because of the overhangs. It starts automatically with a -1 Y offset. This is important for the corner mode a little bit. Well, no, it's important in general because you can switch that to 0, but when you structure, you have to keep in mind that you have to either place the structure block one block higher, or you have to just reset that, because that will always be -1. If you change it on one side, you have to change it on the other side. It doesn't automatically do it. So, but let's just say hypothetically. Okay, so I'll start with the basics. Let's say, I don't know, I'm just going to start playing with numbers until I get the correct length. Also, you can just kind of click and drag this image, and it'll, you know, it'll go around like that. So it's kind of just a number game. This is where a corner would be helpful, because with corner mode you can actually like put another structure, or you can have a structure block at the corner where I have mine, and then one at the opposite corner, and it'll just like basically find them. And then Z is a 25 or whatever. I just play with the number. I don't really try anything specifically here, like 33. That should be good. And then I just usually do like 25 or something random. Obviously, if there's a tighter area, you have to be specific, because anything within this border range, when you load this, will get destroyed. So, like, if I had, I'll save this as Longhorn and go save. Include entities is things like paintings, armor stands, item frames. Remove blocks just does that. I don't know why you'd want that for saving. For loading, it makes more sense, but I don't know. It's a thing. Show bounding box is just the like outline. That's also, I'd usually just leave that on. And then this, I'm not entirely sure the difference between disk. I think disk is like export a little bit, but I'm not positive. I haven't played with that a ton. That's the only thing I don't know the difference between. I usually just do disk, and it works for me. So, but with this, I just like, yeah, I usually do disk, which is I use for command blocks. Although I think either one should work. I'm not fully positive, but, and you just gotta hit the save button. This detect button is for the corner mode, which we will get to later. Also, you can export it, and then you can import it in a different world. That's, only, I think, on PC, but it might be on mobile. I think it's only PC, though. But, yeah, that's one of the most useful things, because, I don't think you can, no, it's not on this side of the world, but I've gotten some things in this world with that. So, you know, and then let's say I want to go back here or something, and load it, and I think I named it Longhorn. I didn't capitalize the L. That's a tough one. And then this is where I'm gonna have to load like 9 of these because to kind of explain. So I'm just gonna place like a beam of oak planks here that'll go kind of up to the top of this box, and you'll see they're all inside the box. So when I load this, they're all gone. I just did want to point that out. And again, I don't know why these are waterlogged blocks. So basically, if there's any water in the build in a specific spot, so let's say where these stairs, actually I'm gonna do these leaves because I'm funny. Let's say, you know, there's water here, and I'll make those both source blocks. If I go back and I waterlog blocks on, load, you'll see that those leaf blocks still have the water in them. And that is just, I don't know. That's a thing, for sure. I can't really tell you what it's useful for, because it just depends what you're building. But this has created a mess. Hold on, there we go. Now, the other things I want to talk about with this. Again, the offset. So if I made this offset, say 10, you'll notice the bounding box will move over 10 on the x coordinate, which is just is kind of based on the coordinates. So you can see where it is now. And then if I load it, it'll load there. And then that structure block will end up getting placed again here. And I think this one does get removed. I'll confirm. Oh, it doesn't get removed. It's still there. But yeah, it'll just place another one. Another thing. Mirroring, I'll get to in a second. Integrity and seed. Alright, so integrity will make an absolute mess. I'm gonna quickly clear this. But basically, integrity is how many of the blocks it keeps. So this, you can see what that just created. It's, oh my god, this is gonna be a fun one to clean up. It's not really like, actually let me move this further out so it doesn't touch that floor. But it can be used for texturing and stuff, because you could just, you know. Hold on, let me get that structure again. Good lord, I should not have named this with a capital L, because it keeps screwing me up. So let's say I set it to 25 integrity. It will load 25% of the blocks and give you this. And if there's any other blocks within that grid, they'll stay. So like, if I had just a giant oak plank thing inside of this, it would leave the oak planks. Which does make the texturing conversation a little bit weirder, but yeah, that's kind of crazy to look at, and I really want to play with this more now that I've discovered this, because this is also new. So the seed goes hand in hand with the integrity. It's basically removing blocks based on the seed that you put in, or that it would automatically generate in this case. It's a weird one, but yeah, we're gonna leave this here. And I'll make another one over here. So rotation's probably the most simple. Rotation and that's fine. Rotation and mirroring have one thing that is a huge complaint in my mind. Actually, there's two things. Structure voids do not, in general with structure blocks, structure voids do not get structured. I'm not really sure why, but they just don't, and it sometimes can screw with it. But basically rotation, so like it's, I want to say it's clockwise. So if you're looking at it, it should face left, unless I'm entirely wrong, in which case that's tough. If I go to 90, it is facing left. So yeah, it's basically just based off of clockwise, and then 180 would face backwards, 270 would face right. And this is where it comes in. You see, okay, this it actually isn't, I didn't seem to have an issue with. Okay, so, yeah, I picked a bad build. I was hoping the doors would, but they clearly, no, they're, here, there we go. See these trap doors? They're all just wrong. So basically, whenever you rotate or mirror it, the trapdoors get absolutely screwed. I'm not sure why they do, but, like, you can kind of see. Because these would have been up against this. It's like, they don't get rotated. It's strange. But their block position changes. I don't know. It's dumb. And it's unfortunate for a situation like that. Mirroring is really strange. Yeah, we'll go with the same corner, I suppose, over here. Actually, no, we're gonna spawn in like a 5th longhorn. So when mirroring, it's basically based off of the line. So like let's say I want it to be mirrored, so this side here that I'm looking at is on the opposite side. So like it would be facing that way right now. So like I want the left and the right to be switched. Essentially, if you walk left to right, that's the x coordinate for me right now. That doesn't matter. I just wanted to point that out because it's the opposite of that. If you walk here, it's the x coordinate. So you basically want it mirrored over the axis. You kind of, it's a graphy thing, but basically you're mirroring it over that line, and that's the, if you just walk along this line, that is the mirror that you do. So if I do Z mirror, you'll see that it will still be facing the right way, but the lefts and rights will be switched. Yeah, oh my god, that looks cursed. And then again, it's the same the other way. The X will mirror front to back, I want to say. Well, no, yeah, it will. And you can actually do both. You can play with rotations plus mirrors. You can get wild with it. I did that with LN2 when I was doing trees. You can see that... What did that do? Wait. Hold on, let me mirror that again real quick, because that felt weird. Mirror on the Z... No, on the X. Okay, there we go. That's what it was supposed to do. I don't know why I didn't do it. But yeah, that's what that does. Don't think there's anything else in the load. Animation. Okay, this, I love this. It's time for another Longhorn, boys. So, this has literally no significance to actually structuring things. It's just really fun to play with. So you can essentially set a time, so I'll just do 10 seconds, and an animation mode. So you can place layer by layer, which is like top to bottom, or you can do by block. I'm going to do by block, and you can see it does this. Now, when it does this, certain things may not get structured properly. If you have a lantern hanging off a block, it won't. If you have, I think, paintings might not always work. It depends. But I have had issues with that. If anybody was watching, like, Back City when I was starting Skyscrapers, I do this a lot with them. And I had a couple lanterns that I had to, like, place by hand. Also, doors didn't... That's weird. Huh. I didn't realize the doors did. Oh, yeah, I guess because placing by block, it would try to place the bottom half of the door alone. Okay, so doors also don't work with that, which that's an unfortunate one. But again, that has no significance. That's just really fun to play with. Let me also confirm that that is everything. Oh, 3D export. That might just be a me thing, because I have a 3D software. I'll still talk about that because I know what that is. And oh, that opens up so many doors. But okay, now let's talk about corner mode. So corner mode, if you read this, it doesn't help. Corner mode uses the detect button in save mode to define the area to save, only detect corner blocks with the same name as the structure being saved. So, if I go back to the Longhorn again, we're going to restructure it. And now this is important because it's based off of the structure block's position, not with the offsets and stuff. So if you want the floor to be included, you have to place it in the floor. And then you'll go corner, and I'll just name this one L because I'm going to make it a little bit easier. So that's one corner, and then you go to the opposite corner and you place another one and put it on corner mode and name it L again. Now this doesn't really have a ton of significance, to be honest. I mean, it can be useful, but this will actually kind of get us into the slash structure nicely, which is good. But I'll talk about 3D export first because I do find that funny. So let's say it's about here, because that will take that slab row perfectly. Corner L, so you want them to be the same name. And then you're going to want to place probably back, although I guess it doesn't matter. But basically, like just like anywhere on the floor, I'll just place it here to prove my point. It has to be less than a 64 by 328, or 64 by 64 by 328, by the way. It can be 328 blocks tall. I forgot to mention that. I'll put something about that at the beginning, probably. But if I go save and I type an L, and then I hit this detect button, okay, well, it didn't work there. Maybe because I was too far, but what it should do... I have to place it on top. There we go. It will basically put everything there. Now, and I had this problem last time. You see, it still is not taking the floor or that top row of the ceiling. For whatever reason, it just like, it freaks out with that a little bit. And then you can just save export this, or whatever is the same. But you can see it goes, like, okay, that's why. It doesn't actually include the structure block. It's just inside of it. So you would want it one block further out on each corner. That would make more sense. So yeah, that's why I didn't know that, or didn't figure that out earlier. Cool. But yeah, that's really that. Now, the other thing, and I'm gonna actually open this menu real quick just to make sure I understand what's happening. If I type in the old, put in the old 3D export. Basically, you see there's an import button. I don't know what I would import here, but essentially I should be able to. If I just do this again real quick, because I'm going to try to make this one a little bit more perfect because of something. If I do this again, I will be able to export this as a 3D file. And when I export this as a 3D file, I can basically print my Minecraft build. GLB, I don't know what that is. So if I just do longhorn, you can't see this, but longhorn.glb, I'm going to confirm that that does what I think that does. So give me a second, I'm going to pull up the software. Alright, so here we are. This may not matter to most of you. The video's done, by the way, unless you want to see the slash structure. But I do just want to show this. So basically, I can import this file, and this is just Creality, by the way. It's the printer that I have. If I import it, you can see, oh my god, that's small. But basically, you can see that bounding box there. But it's, I'm not sure what that's done. You can see that didn't exactly like me very much. But yeah, there's some things happening here. But I could hypothetically, if this wasn't an absolute mess, I could 3D print this. Now, I don't know what's happening here. I'd probably have to see if I can. Yeah, your model errors. Your model is not manifold. Thanks. I would never have guessed. It might be the file type that my problem is. But yeah, I can do this, and I could. Again, if this wasn't such a mess, this would be printable. This is really weird to look at, and also a little bit of an eyesore. This does mean that if I can figure out how this works to a better extent, maybe I could do more with it. But I do want to check what the import does, because the import, I'll get back to you in a second with that, and I'll also do the slash structure segment. So the import thing in this doesn't actually do anything. You see, I can only, or you can't see the files, but I can only open MC structure files, which is just the actual file type. That's like, that's the daycare from, well, I call it the daycare. It's the play place in my custom FNAF map. That's what that label is. But, yeah, so let's talk about the last thing, which is the slash structure command. Because, you know. This works exactly the same, basically, or works very similar to the structure block, just with commands. So basically, I find a corner, I do want to go down another block. This coordinate that I am at right now is the lower half of my body. That's what the coordinate is marked as. So if I were to slash fill this block, it would fill not the block under my feet, but the block that's here. That is just important to know for this, because I'm going to copy this coordinate, or you can write it down or whatever. And then I go to the opposite corner. Again, this doesn't have to be, get the frick out of here. Doesn't have to be specific, and I'll just do slash structure. You can delete structures, save them, load them. Save for this, and then it would be, and then you want to name your structure, so I'm going to name it nerd, because, not plus, I want a nerd. I typed the plus to start the OBS recording. And then it'll just be tilde, 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 which is my coordinate, and the coordinate that I copied. And then disk, false, memory, true. I don't know what true even is. Include entities, boolean. That's what the true is. If you just leave it, it will include the entities anyway. So I just do disk because I find that easier. And then if I went slash load, tilde, 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 no, frick. Nope, God. Slash structure, load. I can put that coordinate in again, and then if I did nerd, it would, nope, okay. you have to do the nerd first. I don't know why my instinct is to put the coordinates first, probably because /fill. But if I type nerd and then I do control V, it won't do anything, but it loaded the structure. It just isn't doing anything because it's already in the right spot. However, if I were to take that again and I were to say go 571, you would see it move. Except for that front block, because I forgot it. But yeah, that's really all /structure is. It's just, that's useful for command blocks more than anything. And you can use a structure block to save a file for a command block to use. However, when you load that structure with the command block, the structure block will appear. Which is probably the biggest upside to doing /structure, is that you won't get that structure block kind of vibing, because I had that happen in LN2 when I was fiddling with it. And, yeah, I had to do a /fill command to get rid of the structure block so you couldn't see the lines. Because it was for resetting the whole ordeal, so I was like, well, that's not exactly good. But, yeah, I'm sorry if there were some jumps and stuff in this, because I discovered there was a lot more to structure blocks that I didn't realize what they were. The integrity thing is actually probably the funnest part of this, and the 3D export. If we can get that to work at some point, that would be huge. I'm going to fiddle with that if I'm ever bored, just to see if I can somehow, you know, take a file or something, a build, and, you know, throw it at you like that. But I think the problem is it took some of the air as well and exported it. I'm not sure what that was, but yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. I will do my best to answer them. And yeah, let me know what you guys think of this one. And thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. Have a fantastic rest of your day or night, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.